Yes, sometimes I work without a whiteboard. And there's a topic that I've had on my mind for the last while, and it's been percolating all summer, and now it's become this big thing in the media. What is Mitch Marner worth? Serious question. What is Mitch Marner worth? Now, before we got to the summer, and I talked about how great the Leafs' chances looked, and then they threw an $11 million offer at Tavares. They got Tavares for 11 million, or Tavares, as he's now. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't care how it's pronounced, Tavares or Tavares. Anyways, John Tavares gets $11 million, and I said that's going to make it more difficult to keep the core together. To which I was told, "You're crazy. The GM has already assured John Tavares that everybody's going to stay. Everybody's going to stay. There won't be a problem." The thing is, then I would say, all right, well, how much are they worth? And the quote I usually got was, well, Nylander should get 6, and Marner will get 6, and Matthews will probably get 10. Okay. The problem with that is that anytime I talk about Matthews, I get Leafs fans who message me and say, well, he's got generational stats. Look at these stats and these advanced stats. And these stats show he's really special. Okay, if he's really special, then he's worth more than $10 million a year. Because, see, we can get hung up on, oh, this guy makes $6 million. So because this guy makes $6 million, then that's how much Nylander and Marner are worth. The problem is, when did the guy sign the contract where he got paid $6 million? Did he take less than market value? Pasternak took less than market value, so you can't really compare him to Pasternak. Pasternak would have got way more than that on an offer sheet. Just he wanted to stay in Boston. So now you're saying, well, they should take a hometown discount if you're saying $6 million. Because again, and this is where the speculation part of it picks up. Nylander, I can totally get behind the idea that he's worth $6 million. Marner, I'm not too sure. Now, Marner struggled at times last year. He did. He had times last year where he was on the third or the fourth line, and yet guess what? He was the number one scorer on the team. I know, for points per game, it was Matthews. I gotta remember, they will always correct me on that. But Marner is a dynamic forward. And Marner playing on a wing, either with Tavares or with Matthews, it doesn't really matter. I think he's primed for about 80 points this year. 80 points back in the 80s, it's a good forward. 80 points now, that's potentially top 10 in the NHL in scoring. And the salary cap keeps going up. So the price that each player is going to charge a general manager to keep him around will go up accordingly. So when people say, well, the cap's going to go up, so it'll be fine. Yes, the cap goes up, but so does the demand of the player. And Toronto's in this uncomfortable place because they haven't got Nylander signed yet. And it seems like that's where their prime efforts are. And then they got to worry about Matthews and Marner, because you don't want them dragging through the summer next year. But how much is Mitch Marner worth? Because I think it's a lot. And I say that as somebody who's not necessarily a fan of Toronto overall. Although I will say that when Matthews, Marner, and the boys started playing, I really enjoyed watching them play. I thought they were a very entertaining team. I didn't know if they were going to go anywhere, but I thought they were very entertaining to watch. And to prove that I'm being as neutral as possible in this, I'm wearing a Toronto Arenas shirt, which is not related to the Maple Leafs at all. People are going to correct me on that. No sarcasm. So the tricky part for the Leafs is going to be this. You've now told members of the Leafs that Tavares is worth $11 million a year. In the old days, back in the 90s, you could have said, well, he's earned that because he's got 10 years in the league. But we're now coming into an era where a guy coming out of an entry-level contract can make a ton of money. Example, Leon Draisaitl. Now, Oiler fans, look away. And cover your ears. I think Marner is every bit as dynamic as Draisaitl. I think that when you look at Draisaitl's money, you look at the fact that the salary cap's gone up since he got it, I think we're going to start seeing some crazy money getting earned by guys coming out of entry-level contracts. I really do. I think it's crazy money that Eichel got. I would argue that Jack Eichel, while he's an excellent forward, Marner has that potential. Now, Marner's a winger, and people are going to say, well, if you put Marner with a crappy center, he wouldn't get as many points. Okay, because that's usually an argument that I'll see when it comes to a winger getting paid out big money. Centers, you don't really see that very often where it's, well, look at his wingers, so you can't say anything about his point totals because look at his wingers. Although it does kind of work the other way, where a center will get a ton of points. They'll go, well, yeah, but look who he's passing the puck to. So it's not the same. It's really weird. But the one thing that's really been making me wonder about how the Leafs are going to do this going forward is, how much is Marner worth? Is it 9? Because here's the thing. If you think Mitch Marner, that the guy who's been scoring 3-4 points some nights for the Leafs in the preseason, is the Mitch Marner you're going to get during the regular season, they're going to pay through the nose. And if Austin Matthews is this generational level forward that some Leaf fans say he is, and he shows it not just in the advanced stats but the regular stats this year, and he ends up putting up about 90 points, 11 million? That's lowballing it. Because the cap's going to go up again. He can get more than that. So now you're looking at Matthews and Marner potentially costing you $21 million between the two. And then it's $32 million when you add in Tavares, plus whatever they end up giving Nylander. It could be a very expensive core for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Very expensive. And I know, and people are going to say, well, look what happened with Tampa. Yzerman was a cap wizard. He had guys signing for below market value that admitted they were signing below market value. The one thing that could pull the Leafs out of this, the one thing that could work to their benefit is winning. If the Leafs put up a ton of goals, but they struggle at points this year, and you see guys put up great offensive totals, but the Leafs crap out in the first round or somehow miss the playoffs, you may not get the hometown discount. You will if the team does really, really well in the regular season and makes it to at least the third round of the playoffs. If you can go to Marner and Matthews at the end of this year and say, hey, guys, we were really close. We want you to stick around long term. We're going to pay you, but we're not going to pay you full market value because we want to be able to put a team around you guys that can compete. Remember, when you're looking at McDavid's money, McDavid left money on the table to help the Oilers out. He did. He was going to sign for more money than what he ended up signing for. And then when he saw the criticism about the amount of money he was taking, he went back to the Oilers and gave money back. That's what the Leafs are going to need. Because if it comes down to actual market value, Nylander, Marner, and Matthews are worth every penny of whatever they get. But I will say of the three, Nylander's the one I'm concerned that they could end up overpaying. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, especially with how much you think these guys are worth and what you guys figure is going to happen between now and next summer. If Dubas does this right, he should have all three signed by Christmas. This should not be an issue past about Christmas. And, work at it from there. But it could be a very expensive core. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.